President of Hockey Operations, Keith Jones. So with that, I'm going to kick it over to Dan for his opening remarks.
Joe, thank you very much, and hello to everyone. And Mark Recchi, it's just so exciting to have you here to be named to this elite group of the Flyers Hall of Fame. And I would just like to make brief comments about the player, about community, and family. So when you think of Mark Recchi, we all know, member of the Crazy Eights, 602 games here in Philadelphia, pretty amazing with your storied career. And everybody remembers the 123-point year in 92-93. Can anybody tell me how many goals were part of that?
Over
Okay.
50, right?
50.
Yeah, right
50
on
on the dot, 73 assists. So, and Mark, the way he played the game was how he lives his life with his wife, Kim, and their family. He was in the corners all the time. He did the dirty work to make things happen for the club and for the city. And for him, in reality, it's all about family. Again, mentioning Kim and the rest of his family and making sure that they're part of this great event as well. But what we're trying to do here, as we talk about in this new era of Orange, is to build family. And nobody exemplifies that better than Mark Recchi. And to have him recognized on the rafters as a member of our elite Hall of Fame is just so exciting to all of us. And I say that, Mark, on behalf of the entire organization. But there's one more thing I want to talk about, and that is Mark's role in the community. I was a fan back then, and seeing Mark leave a game, never turn away from a young person who wanted an autograph, involved in community endeavors throughout the region, that really exemplifies not only who he was as a great player, but as a great person. So, Mark, thank you for really being a key part of this family as we enter this new era. So,
Thanks, Ilf. I would echo a lot of those statements from Dan. Had the opportunity to play against Mark when he was putting up 123 points. Got a lot of minuses against Mark, but had a great respect for the way that he played the game. He had the it factor, something that we're looking for in every player that we assess that we want to join our organization. Mark had everything that you want in a hockey player. He played aggressively when necessary, very rarely lost a puck battle, and scored some huge, timely goals while he was here in Philadelphia and in other places where he was winning Stanley Cups. It's a great pleasure to have you back here. I was a teammate of Mark's here in Philadelphia. He was an awesome teammate, a great friend to everybody on his team, including myself. And I know there's a lot of former Flyers that are very proud of your accomplishments, and very happy to be here today to support you and say congrats on going into the Flyers Hall of Fame.
awesome.
Well, I can't thank Dan and Jonesy enough, and Flyers organization. It's an incredible honor, and I've been coming back a few years now, and you know, I can bringing back family, and the job that you guys are doing is making the ex-players and the players proud too, because it's this is a special place, and it's an awesome place to play, and this is just it's a tremendous honor. I mean, obviously I played with some of the guys that went in, that are in the Hall of Fame, and was around a lot of them before the guys who won cups and were a big part of the start of the Philadelphia Flyers culture. And to me, it's just watching what's going on now, and knowing Keith, and just getting to know Dan. This is a family. It's family again, and that's, to me, that's the most important thing. As a proud Flyer, and I'm excited for the future of this organization, and super thrilled to be part of tomorrow night, and part of the group that is in there. It's a special group, and I'm very honored and humbled to be part of it.
Questions? Keith, you were a teammate with Mark. Do you have maybe a favorite story or memory that kind of sums up Mark as a player and teammate?
I always remember admiring just kind of the way that he played the game. He knocked numerous guys upside down on the ice, and that's something that you wouldn't expect. The wrecking ball was a very common nickname for Mark, and there was good reason for that. So I can remember the first time that we played together, and I was just so impressed by his physical abilities that for a guy that wasn't, one of the taller guys on the team, he was unafraid. And that really kind of set the tone for the way that we wanted to play the game. It was the type of leadership that you expect from star players, and Mark did that on a nightly basis. So that's probably the most memorable part I have about Mark's game, was just how hard he played the game.
Mark, in your second stint in Philadelphia, you guys made some deep playoff runs. What is it that you remember about those teams that made them great and kept you guys at the top of the league?
Well, you know what, I've been thinking a lot about that, the last couple of weeks, and they were, I always go back and I have great memories of those groups because we had so much fun together. We were a family, we were a team, we were as tight as a god, and we never ended up winning, but we felt like we were winners because we really had a special group for those 4 or 5 years, 5 years that we were together. I mean, we truly loved each other as teammates and friends, and we had a blast on and off the ice. We supported each other, we pushed each other, we held each other accountable, and the things that you would expect on great teams, and that's what made it so much fun because we had that every day. Every day came to the rink, we tried to get better, we pushed each other, we had fun, and we had lots of great times together on and off the ice, and I've been thinking about that a lot, lately. And the one thing that didn't come out of it, we didn't get to the promised land, but I was still very proud of what we did as a group because it is hard to win, and but we almost got there, but we fell short. But it wasn't because we weren't a close team and we weren't a special group of guys.
Mark, a lot of the players that are playing with you in the alumni game, when asked about you, a quality that kept coming up was leadership and kind of how that helped bring teams together and your role in that. How did you kind of have that evolve over the course of your career, especially in the years in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I mean, when I first came to Philadelphia, I was still fairly young, and I had 5 years in between my two stints, and I had taken on a much more leadership role in Montreal. I was starting to get a little bit older. They were younger as well. So I did that, and also I think I became more of a complete player. By the time I got here in my second stint, I was more of a complete player as well. I was more well-rounded. When you're a young kid coming in, you're talented. A lot of times you think about offense, and you don't worry about defense too often. And can honestly that probably happened quite a bit. But as I got older, I learned the importance of being a great two-way player and being a guy that, your teammates could trust every night. Your teammates knew they were going to be there every night for them. I wasn't afraid to hold teammates accountable. They weren't afraid to hold me accountable because they knew I'd handle it the right way. And when you do that, it just, you create a leadership that, is very important.
Mark, Joe. When we talked recently, you mentioned you were working on your speech. I was just wondering.
It's not going very well.
He's still working on it. You guys have any suggestions? He's open.
You said you watched a bunch of other speeches.
Yeah, I watched Homer talk it. Yeah, so I've been watching a few of them. So
Did you watch Brindy's yet?
no, I haven't.
No,
watched
he had a
Brindy's.
great speech.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Good. I'll have to watch Brindy's tonight. That'll throw me right off. Even worse. But no, I got some obviously some stuff written down and some, I'm the type of guy that I'll have a bullet point and I'll kind of just go with it. So.
What specific moments stand out just from playing here? When you can think of maybe 2 or 3, just specific times that you were a player here.
Well, I mean, lots of them. I mean, we had so especially my second stint. I had a blast in my first stint as well, but we were young and we were kind of in and out of the playoffs, and we weren't quite successful. And then the second stint was just something that I don't think there's anything in particular, but it just the group of guys we had. You don't forget it. I mean, there's going to be a bunch of them. I mean, you're talking about Talk and Berube, and I mean, you look at the character guys like you got Bundy, you know, Johnny, like this, the different group of guys we had and how much fun we had together, Eshy as well. I mean, we had a lot of character and just those, to me, those are the things that I remember now being out is just how great a group we were together and you know, no particular play, you know, like it all falls in. I just enjoyed playing and just coming to the rink every day and just being part of it.
Between you and Talk and Chief, why do you think so many guys from that team wind up being coaches in this league?
Yeah, I don't. That's a good question. I don't know.
Luke
I mean,
Richardson as well. And
Luke, yeah.
Rod Brindamore.
Rod Brindamore, yeah.
There's a lot.
Part of it, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously you love the game. You have a passion for it, and you know, I took a year off, and I was like crawling through. I didn't know what the heck to do with myself. So, you know, I'm not sure the answer there, but you know, I think we obviously all love the game, and we all love to help players and in some way, and try and help them get better, and try and help organizations to get better, and be part of you know, we like being part of something, you know, and that's always the fun part.
Joe Watson said today he met you at a coaching clinic when you were 8 years old out in British Columbia.
Yeah.
He said even then he knew that you were a guy that wanted the puck, wanted to score. Is that kind of where things got started?
Oh yeah, things got started in Kamloops for sure, my hometown, and yeah, I was very fortunate to have some, you know, good coaching when I grew up, and some great people back home, and yeah, and you know, I had 3 brothers, and they all loved the game. One of them played a little bit of pro, but that was a couple games, but not really much, but the other ones, but we all loved the game growing up, like a lot of Canadian boys do, and I just, you know, it was something I played a bunch of other sports, but that one I always just kept coming back to.
Mark, there's a ton of pressure to play in Philadelphia, but why do you think, despite the pressure, guys love to play here and they remember playing here?
Pressure. I mean, coming to the rink every day and playing hard and competing. If you play hard and you play the right way, there's really no pressure to me, to be honest with you. I think you're going to get the support of the fans, and because if you play the right way, they're not going to be that hard on you because you're doing the right things. And you know, I never really looked at it. I played in Montreal. That was you know, as extreme as you get, and I felt the same way there. I loved it, but you know, I don't really look at it as pressure. I just think it's something that pushes you to be better every day. And you know, when you have a sports town like this, it's you know, it's pretty neat, pretty special to be part of something like that.
Dan, you've talked to us a little bit about your background and how you've been such a big Philadelphia sports fan a long time. When you're around guys like Mark Recchi and a lot of the other guys that are going to be out on the ice tonight, what does that do to feed your passion to lead this organization?
Well, that's really a great question. I think one of the things my wife and I talk a lot about this experience because at this age, I mean, who wouldn't be excited to be part of a great organization like the Flyers? And as a lifelong fan, I think the main thing for me, I am so impressed with the hockey culture in general. The individuals that either play or coach or are part of it in some way, there's a level of humility that I just haven't seen in a lot of areas of my past professional life anyway. So I'm impressed with that. And just sitting and talking to these 2 guys, Jonesy and Mark, for a few minutes, I mean, they exude that. It's a quiet confidence to be part of a team, to be part of something special. And frankly, that's who we are as a city of Philadelphia, a region of Philadelphia. We're people throw out the blue collar line. Well, it's just people that humbly, for the most part, go about their business, do it with an eye on being excellent, and do it as a team, as a family. And so, for me, coming here every day, I smile, and leaving every night, I smile.
Dan, to kind of follow up on that, you, as a fan, you've seen alumni games and these Hall of Fame inductions and how the Flyers typically put these things on. I guess how was it different for you this time around, being involved in the process and kind of having part of the planning in this?
Well, it's kind of like I'm almost a little embarrassed to say this. I was a fan. So here I am sitting in a room with all these people that we Philadelphians came and cheered for and occasionally didn't cheer for, but we mostly cheered for, and to really to get to know them as people. And it's been great. I mean, in past careers, I met politicians, business leaders, but there's been nothing like this, getting to know real people with just a fire in the belly to do something special.
Mark, we're coming up on the 20-year anniversary of a game between the Flyers and the Ottawa Senators that was the all-time penalty minute game. Basically started with you and Marty Havlat, right? What do you remember about the lead up to that game and the sort of craziness that ensued?
Yeah, well, I remember Havlat got suspended, and they suspended him 3 games, and we played him the 4th. And I thought that was Coley Campbell did a good job there. So, well, you know what? But that was, to me. I mean, hey, I mean, fighting's fighting, but the way we handled it as a team, and the way Ottawa handled it, I think it hurt Ottawa. They kind of went one direction, we went the other, because of the way we handled it and the way everybody was involved. Everybody, every top skilled guy to, you know, our role guys. Everybody was involved in it, and they didn't do that. And I think it kind of divided their dressing room a little bit, and it brought us even closer. I really feel that way, and it was, it's just one of those things where it brings your team, it really brings your team together.
When you were going through that, what was it like just being a part of that game where everyone's fighting? You have 14 or 13, whatever.
I loved it.
As a fan, I loved
I
it.
was just doing it because we were like, wow, when's it hey, it's our turn. Let's go, boys. Like we jump on the ice, and I think when I fought, I saw Johnny all of a sudden was fighting somebody, and I just turned around, grabbed the first guy, and let's go. Yeah. And then everybody else was going as well. So I mean, it just, you know what? It's what you do as teammates, and we wanted, we were a team, and we wanted to show that, and we did.
That was probably the team that was, you guys came close that year, right?
Yeah.
With that, so you think that event, that game might have actually helped to spur you on? I mean, it was kind of late in the season. It helped kind of spur you on.
It did, and it really. I mean, we were that just shows you how close we were, and we were probably going that direction anyways. But that never hurt you. I mean, it helped us, and we had a special bond. And when you go through stuff like that, we had guys that I don't think ever had a fight in their life before. That were fighting.
Sharpie was fighting too.
Sharpie
did
was
well.
his first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did a great
Yeah,
job.
that was Sharpie's
That's why we
first
brought
fight.
him here today.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Michael, we had Hanzus, we had Semek.
Yeah,
Semek,
that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah, it was his first, yeah. Yeah, so,
All right, thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thanks, everybody.
thank you.